Um, I want to ask you this: like in that moment when you're Miles Culvin, right, and you've been playing well this season, but you got a shot to win. Like, what is going through your head in that moment when you are kind of in a spot where you can go and win a game? Because I think that's the hardest part of this is like, can you just block out the fact that there's all this pressure on you and what is going on? Like, how do you handle that as a player?
I mean, I think in that situation, and obviously every kind of situation is its own, but the way that game unfolded, those are the ones you're excited to take. Um, you're kind of playing with house money. If we're being blatantly honest, they really had no business. I'm not gonna say in the game because it was a nip and tuck game, but after they stretched that game out and Memphis kind of pissed it away again at the end, like you just hope you get a clean look. And on top of that, they were able to get a clean look for three to not only, tie the game up, but take the lead. So it's like, you playing with house money. Okay, cool. I get a great look at it. That's all I can ask for. Either I make or I miss it. So, but you could just tell like that they had, number one, they had practice and done that before. A lot more frequently than some would probably anticipate or expect, but they ran it and executed to perfection with no timeouts. I think that was the most impressive thing. And they also took a very long time after the free throw to get that ball in. It was almost like it was a mini timeout. Everybody was able to get set up in their spots, and it was just a number of things down the stretch though on the Memphis end that more so lost that game than it was Wake Forest doing something spectacular to win it. Don't get me wrong. Hell of a shot, though. Hell of a shot, and what a fun game as well too. That was definitely the best finish that I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, it was a hell of a shot. We're going to hear from Miles Culvin here in a second, but McCall, I want to hit you on this, man. You're the coach. You've been in these situations before. For the people that didn't watch, what happened was Memphis got fouled with 1.5 seconds left on the clock in a tie game. Doug McDaniel made the first free throw. The same thing happened with Nebraska and Kansas State. 0.9 seconds left. Nebraska gets fouled. The guy makes the first free throw. What Nebraska did was they missed the second free throw, right, on purpose. Now, Kansas State had a timeout. They were able to call a timeout, and they were able to run a play. Wake Forest didn't have a timeout. So if you miss that second free throw, all Wake Forest can do is try to catch a rebound and throw the ball 90 feet and make a shot to beat you. But Memphis made it and allowed them to run a play to be able to have a chance to beat you. Do you intentionally miss that? Was that the wrong decision by Penny to allow Doug McDaniel to make that?
You love the analytics, by the way. You love the analytics. You and Ken Palm, and you're an analytics guy. Let's just say you're an analytics guy. Are you?
Well, you go from basically what happens is you have a 0.0001% chance of winning the game to like a 2% chance of winning the game if you allow them to run a play. Like it's actually possible if you run a play. It's not possible if you miss the free throw, more or less.
I think yes. In that situation with Wake Forest not having a timeout, you have to miss the free throw on purpose. But even that being said, think about what had to happen for Wake Forest to hit that shot. Ridiculous pass over length on the ball. Right? I mean, 6'8", 6'9", on the ball trying to affect that pass. 2, you have to catch the pass. 3, not only do you have to catch the pass, you have to find the three-point shooter to be able to make that on a touch pass. So, yes, do I think Memphis should have missed the free throw on purpose? Absolutely. But do I think it's a bigger story on what actually happened to execute at the end of the game with that amount of time? Length of the floor pass, catch the pass, touch pass to a three-point shot. That was way more impressive than we're sitting here saying, what the heck is Memphis doing? They should have missed the free throw. And I agree, they should have missed the free throw. That's exactly what should have happened in that situation. But all the credit goes towards Wake Forest and Steve Forbes. Like all of it. Because like Jarrell said, they've worked on it. They've practiced it, but it's another thing to do it when the game's on the line. And talk about this too. Think about Wake Forest's season this far. Had chances to beat a top 5 team in Michigan. Lost. Came down to the wire, weren't able to do it. Same thing happened yesterday. Lost. To come back and win that game and be focused enough in that moment to execute that play and not say, oh, here we go again. Another close game. Another close game. We're going to lose this one. No, that's not what happened. All the credit goes to Wake Forest. Should Memphis have missed the free throw? Yes.
I just got to add two things, and I want to hear kind of your perspective on the first one as well too, Matt. And the only thing I would say this, I completely agree. I said it while I was sitting there watching. After he made the first one, you missed the second one because they don't have any timeouts. They get a rebound or somebody even gets a finger on that ball and it gets tipped, the game is over essentially. Or a guy's going to have to catch the ball, come down, and do a 90-foot heave. But I'll ask you this, Matt, just talk about the time frame as well, too. And this is why you can't kill Penny Hardaway for this because, number one, you have to wait till he makes the first free throw to give a signal to miss the second one. And then it also goes some things into that as well too, because they're in the bonus. So if you miss the second one, you got to kind of tell your guys to pull back. We're not trying to get necessarily an offensive rebound. You don't want to risk fouling. And as well, you got to also tell the shooter he got to hit the rim, which is a different kind of pressure when you telling the guy to miss, or it's a violation and it's a dead ball and you up one as well too. Second thing, and I'll shut up after this, Rob, the bigger play to me still, Zach Davis gets that offensive rebound and goes for that layup. He shoots the three. He does a great job of tracking that ball down, and he goes up for that layup at the end instead of just bringing the ball back out, holding it, wasting some more clock, and they would have had the foul anyway. I know it'll get kind of lost in the shuffle with the end of the game, theatrics and everything, but I think that was just as big of a play. It was 6 possessions before that too, man. Like Memphis was still trying to go up and down and just hoisting up bad shots when they should have been trying to execute at the end, burn some clock, get longer possessions, get to the free throw line and get layups at the end of the game. So, but like you said, all the credit goes to Wake Forest because at the end of the day, you got to execute in those situations. But yeah, it was a great game nonetheless.
Yep. Jarrell, I agree with you, man. Like, and Rob, last point on this, and we'll wrap it up.
Right. Yeah.
You look at these benches, and in today's day and age in college basketball, there's more people in polos, quarter zips, or I guess some teams still do the whole suit thing, which I thought that was the only positive thing of COVID is that we didn't have to wear suits anymore. We could put on the quarter zips or polos. Someone's got to be paying attention to the specialist. Penny Hardaway's got a million things going on in his mind as a head coach. He's got a million things going on in his mind. But someone on his bench needs to pop up and say, hey, we need to miss this on purpose. Because that's your job.
That's a great point.
These staffs are so big. They're huge. They're massive. So who's in charge on your bench in terms of special situations? Who's in charge? So if we're going to knock him on anything, it would be that. Like, you go into that staff meeting and be like, hey, Matt McCall, assistant coach, what the heck? Why didn't you come up to me and grab me by the shirt and tug me and say, hey, we need to miss this one on purpose? Because as a head coach, you have so many different things going on through your brain. And we have these, massive coaching staffs now. Massive, right? There's more people over there than ever. Someone needs to be held accountable for that.
Yep, I agree. We were able to catch up with the man of the hour, Miles Culvin, the Purdue transfer to Wake Forest. They hit the game-winning shot in front of a Purdue-friendly crowd. Heard his name chanted by his old fans as well as some of his new fans. So let's get into that interview now. Miles Culvin, Wake Forest, game winner. And now let me welcome onto the field of 68 After Dark, the man of the hour, the guy that hit maybe the shot of the year in college basketball so far this season, none other than Miles Culvin. 19 points tonight, but Miles, none bigger than the 3 that you hit at the buzzer to beat Memphis 69-68. Take me through that shot, right? Just take me through the moment, what you see and what you kind of feel as that ball is leaving your fingertips.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Isaac, first of all, for throwing that great pass to Trey and then Trey connecting it to me. I got my feet set, I let it go, and it felt really good, and it went in all net, I believe.
I know you guys ran something similar last night. Is that kind of why you run those plays in those moments, even if it's, you're down by 4 with what, like a second and a half left? That's kind of a lost cause. That's why you run it, though. That's why you play it out to the buzzer in case you got that situation again.
Yeah, well, I mean, we practice those plays beforehand. This is not just something we drew up randomly. I think it's we've been prepared for these moments. Forbes has prepared us, obviously. So I think we were ready for it, and it paid off.
What was it like hearing the fans of the school that you left this spring chanting your name after the shot went in? That had to be a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, it was amazing. Obviously they have a really great culture, so I know they have nothing but love. And I have nothing but love for them. I think it was just a situation that was, didn't benefit me at the time. So I think I think they respect me and I respect them, and I wish them nothing but the best.
I mean, it speaks to what happens when you do things the right way, right? Sometimes the situation isn't right, but as long as you handle it like adults and grown people, you can all still be friends with friends at the end of the day. And it feels like that's what you kind of did, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think Painter understood, my goals and aspirations, and I think unfortunately, I don't think I could have got that, with my time there at Purdue. So I think he understood why I had to move on from my future, and like you said, you handle things the right way, and I think my dad has taught me, amazing things, just how to handle things, and not to burn bridges, and be respectful of those who have helped me get to where I am today.
So you guys lost by a point last night. You lost by a point against Michigan. You're like 2 points away at this point, 2 possessions away from being a team that everybody is talking about as like a top 20 or whatever in America. How important was it to go out and get one of these close wins and go out and have one of these breaks kind of bounce your way?
Yeah, I think it was very important just because, we have a really new team. A lot of us haven't played with each other. So I think this is, I think it's shown how we were going to be down the line, in tough situations. And, we fought back. We were down, a couple possessions down the stretch, and, we didn't give up. And, obviously those two games at Michigan and the Texas Tech game last night slipped away from us. And we have nothing but belief in ourselves that we can win those games later on in the season when we get to play those tougher teams in the ACC play. So I think it's just it gives us confidence and we knew we had to come in today and handle business because it's a matter of who wanted it more with these consolation games. So I think it was big for us to come in and get this win.
You're really subdued right now, man. You do realize that you just hit a shot on national television where you had the ball under your own basket with 1.5 seconds left, and you hit a three to win it at the buzzer. You realize that, right? You know that just happened because I watched it.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just my personality. I'm a very calm, laid back dude. Obviously it was an amazing shot. I've had a couple amazing plays, early on in the season. So I think it's just, I think it's Forbes has put a lot of confidence into me, and I think I've done nothing but grown from it. I think I've been getting even more comfortable in this offense. So I think it's amazing to see, not just for me but my team. I think we have a really good team where we're going to shock a lot of people this year.
Were you surprised they didn't miss that last free throw? Up by 1.5 seconds left. You didn't have a timeout.
Honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if they did do that. It would have put us in an even tougher situation to do that. But obviously, I'm not complaining that they made the so I think it paid off.
Worked out for you, right? Let me end it with this, right? I think a lot of people have, I don't want to say overlooked Wake Forest, but the conversation about the ACC has involved a lot of other teams in that league, three of which happen to reside in the same state that you guys are in. We've seen
Mhm.
what Juke has done this season. We've seen what you have done this season. We know how good Nate and Makai are, and I personally know because I have Randolph Childress that works with me here, and I hear about it all the time about how guys don't sleep on Wake, don't sleep
Mhm.
on Wake now. So you guys, it feels like you kind of made a little bit of a statement here with some of the performances, and especially this win that you had. Do you feel like people are overlooking you guys right now?
Yeah, I definitely do think that's the situation, but I think we're just gonna put the work in and let the work show for itself. And I think it's just in due time where people are gonna have to respect us, and if they don't, then they're gonna have to deal with the repercussions, I believe.
Yeah, well, you know what? Once they start dealing with those repercussions, and maybe you'll crack a smile for me on the podcast. So what do you think?
Yeah.
Listen, Miles, congratulations, man. Go and celebrate.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.